Hello and welcome to another episode of Superheroes of Arabia podcast. And with me today is the real superhero of Arabia. He has been not only a passionate collector of comics, a reader of comics or superheroes per se, but rather he has decided to do something about it for the community. Today I'm sitting here with Sultan Saad. Sultan Saad did the unthinkable in Saudi Arabia, and that was to open up a standalone brick and mortar comic book store. This comic book store, as you can see behind us, is decorated with the finest statues of our favorite superheroes. But it's not just a statue collectible store. It has masterpieces from Marvel, DC, you name it. He is catering to all of the audiences that are out here, from DC, Marvel, Vertigo, all the way to anime. So please join me in welcoming the owner of Saudi Arabia's first ever comic book store. And I call it a historical landmark for that reason, Sultan Saad.
Thank you for the introduction. I think it's way too much, but I'm happy to be here. It's finally meeting you. It's been an honor to see you for the first time. We've been knowing each other for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And when you decided to meet up and make a podcast, I only decided to meet up as live to
In
live
person.
in person. Yeah, I don't want it to be just like an online podcast. It's really an honor to meet you.
You have shown the reason why everybody has fallen in love with what you have done. The humility that you have shown, believe me, you do not realize the impact that you have created in the local market for geeks. And seriously, I was delighted when you had mentioned that you wanted to have an in-person podcast session. That just made my day, because it would give me the opportunity to explore your store. And by the way, there is a separate vlog in which I'm going to be showing what he has in his store, so make sure you watch that as well. So now we're going to start with our podcast discussion. Basically, I want to know, who is Sultan Saad?
I'm Sultan. Everybody know me as Ivigo in the community. So I'm a comic book reader. I like comics. I grew up with comics. I read comics more than 30 years. But the problem is, the only way to get comics is traveling to countries, bring comics with you, finding a random bookstore, surprisingly finding a comic there in like unexpected way, or if you have some people are traveling, tell them to bring comics with them. There was like Arabic comics in before, like Majid, Basim, but you need the other stuff. You need the famous stuff like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, all of these superheroes that you heard about, but you could not get them in here. And then after that came the online reading. Online is good to catch up, but it's not the satisfaction of reading the comic in paper in person. So after that came a couple of sites that sell comics, Amazon, Basta Comics, a lot of people. But the problem with it's the time. Sometimes the comic or the story that you want, you don't find it, or you find it as sold out or something like that. So what can I do? I decided to open a comic book. The first reason is I want to read comics free for myself. The second is to share this experience to all. I want people to understand reading comics, feel the paper of the comics is different from online.
I think I'm really glad you said that, because unfortunately a lot of people still don't realize the importance of the print edition of comics and graphic novels.
Yes.
It's not like as if you're reading a newspaper or Time or Newsweek magazine. Comics are a different experience. So you mentioned that you started out reading comics, and you mentioned some really nostalgic names, I must say, like Basim and Majid. Okay, and so I assume that you were not a fan of Nabil Fauzi Superman.
Yes, but it was the thing is Majid Basim because they come as weekly basis in
Yeah.
here. So it's obvious why I say that because I buy them weeklies every Friday after the prayer. So
Right.
yeah, so that's why. But I read Nabil Fauzi, I read Archie comics, I read Miki and Batut. Yeah, so a lot of these comics that written from Egypt, Lebanon, and Syria that came to us in here. So no, I read them all. But but Majid and Basim because it's the nearest and they were printed in here and UAE and it comes regularly as weekly. So that's the thing. That's why I call them.
The reason I asked you about Nabil Fauzi was had interviewed an American author who grew up in Israel.
Okay.
Okay, and he was a fan of Superman. Now the problem was that there they would be getting comics in Hebrew.
Okay.
So he didn't want that. I, in Saudi Arabia, when I picked up my first Superman comic and I saw the name Nabil Fauzi instead of Clark Kent, I said, Malish. So, what is it basically about DC and Marvel that most of us, especially those of us who grew up in the Arab and Muslim world, we do not prefer to read them in our own language, rather we prefer to read them in English?
It's not about that. In the early days, it's the translation.
Right.
The problem is translation.
Translation, okay.
Yeah, and you must understand also not the way that they translate it. Sometimes it's not equivalent as the English or
Right.
the original thing.
Right.
And the selected stories that they translated.
Yes, they didn't do the entire thing.
They didn't do the entire thing, so I need some of the stories that I grew up, and mostly they do the most early golden age and silver age things.
Yes.
They didn't do the most modern with the new crisis that made people happier to read. So that's the why they stopped. Not a lot. So when someone read the Arabic version of the old stuff, it's like the 40s and the 50s era when it was like mostly it's through children or like a young audience. It's not like for teens and above. So that's why it's never succeeded. It's a good effort, but it has two problems: the selected stories and the time limit and the translation issues.
Translation issues. Okay, this, if I assume correctly, you're talking about the 1980s, 1990s.
Mostly
Saudi
in the
Arabia.
70s and 60s, I think, something like that. 62, 60.
It continued till
Yeah, it continues. Yeah.
okay.
But they didn't catch up to the crisis
on Infinite
or the death of Superman and everything.
Oh no, that wasn't.
These the interesting parts of that came in. Even Spider-Man issues.
Okay, so tell us. Did you face any struggle in that time? Because, like, for example, reading comics, being interested in superheroes, watching cartoons didn't come without challenges.
Yes.
Our parents would be wanting us to focus more on our studies. There was this very derogatory term called Abu Sura.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you experience anything like that?
Not really. My parents, they liked me when I was reading, so they always bring books for me to read.
Right.
So they are happy to see me reading, not like playing around or doing stuff that. So I study, then I read. So whenever they can, they bring me Miki Batul books, whatever they can.
So they appreciate
Yes,
it
so
as
they
long as you're reading.
appreciate it as I like reading.
Okay, then what happened? Because in our societies, our parents, our families, they have this expectation that okay, he's going to grow out of this. He will get his university degree, and then he will get a job, and then he's going to get married, have kids,
Yeah.
give us grandkids. So what happened along the way that made you decide that I am not a career oriented person, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I've highlighted the problem which is being faced by the superhero loving community, and I am going to bring the solution in the form of a brick and mortar store? What happened all of a sudden?
It's the thought of the thing is, I didn't in all times. I want a store in Saudi Arabia, a store, not my store. I want a store in Saudi Arabia that sell comics.
That has been with you from the very beginning.
No, I don't. It's not. I don't want to open that in the beginning, but I wish that there was a store.
Yeah.
So I want a place that I can buy comics or graphic novels, but there wasn't. Tried the online purchasing, succeeded some, not succeeded in the others. So it's hard. So through the time, cinema came in Saudi Arabia, Marvel movies came in, DC movie came in, anime movies came in, and now I saw the events, Comic-Con Arabia, Stanley, Supercon and everything. I saw there are people out sharing the same thing. People like comics, people like anime, and yeah, I think I'm thinking about it now. I saw a couple of store opening, but they sell like anime figurines. It's good.
Yeah.
I like them, but I want a comic. I need comics. I want Batman. I want Spider-Man. I want Hulk. I want the other superheroes, the US version. It's not. I'm not saying they are better. I like them both, but I want to see them. So I asked a couple of people who Basta Comics. They are my friends, and I asked them, "How did you do it? Is it easy? Is it difficult?" They gave me the pros and cons and things. My original thought, I was opening an online store.
Right.
Then I thought about it. Yeah, the thing with online, it's not a bad thing. It's good, but the best thing about comics is when someone come in, explain.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want. I'll give it to you.
Right.
You want Superman? Okay. Birthright. All-Star Superman, Death of Superman, whatever story that you want, I can explain. He doesn't know comics? Yeah, okay. What kind of story that you're interested in? Sci-fi, fantasy, history, action, comedy, dark stories, horror stories. Give me what you want, I'll give you whatever story that you need. So that things we cannot find it online.
True.
You need a person who are experienced or who knows comics, so he can explain to the first time comic book reader or the one who tries. I have a lot of customers came in, they did never ever read a comic, and they went up, bought a comic, came back, took something else. So that's experience. So I thought it will be a big promoter. I spoke to the distributors, and they said, okay, unless you have a lease, a shop, and certificate, سجل تجاري, and
all the government
documents.
Yes.
Yeah, I did all that. Ordered, came in, voila.
And you didn't face any problems from the Ministry of Media or
No. I in the beginning, I explained to them. I have all the license required that we opened a publisher and a license to sell books and the license to open a shop. Yeah, I did all my homework before opening it. I didn't do it I did all the homework. Took the license from the media license, took the Ministry of Commerce and everything. So I did all the documents before I begin ordering one book.
I think you have shed light on a very important point. A lot of businesses that haven't been successful in our country is because of the fact that people want to do things the half-hearted way, and everybody wants to do things the smart way. Smart way in the sense that, like, for example, I'm not going to invest a lot of time because it's not just money that's there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to invest a lot of effort in getting the governmental regulations being done. Whereas your story is inspirational because of the fact that what you did was you did your homework, you studied the market, and to the credit of Basta Comics as well, who guided you.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who will misguide you in along the way. And next thing you know, you decided to do something which is considered by investors as a high risk investment, because unfortunately the investors in our country are mostly about
fast money,
aqariya, mataan, restaurants and real estate and stuff, things like that. So okay, till now, you've mentioned that people who came to you and you basically explained to them, you educated them about the importance of comics, and these people, boys and girls, men and women, they were not into comics and they converted.
It's not like converted. It's like when they see a movie or saw a movie or saw a series or whatever. So they get hooked. They like the characters. For
Right.
example, oh, I saw Luke, I saw Wanda, I saw Peacemaker, whatever series or a movie they liked. They come to me and they need to know more about this character that they like.
Right.
So they know him in the movies or the TV shows, but they don't know that they are more into them in comics. It's like, for example, Batman. It's not that stories that we said. How many movies is Batman? 9 or 10?
Yeah, if you count like 3 from Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, two Burtons and Reeves one and.
You're not gonna count my Schumacher.
What? But it's considered like. The stories that in these movies, they don't cover 5% of Batman stories.
True.
5%. And the thing is, the iconic stories didn't come in the movies, like No Man's Land, Nightfall, The Rise and Falling of Batman. A lot of good stories in Batman that still didn't go to the media. That's that same thing goes to Superman. Same thing goes to Spider-Man. We always got the same thing: an origin story, a simple story, iconic characters. They're good actors. They're good visual effects, but they didn't capture the beauty of comics.
The essence of it.
Yeah, because the comics, when you read comics, you're not just reading words. You're enjoying art.
Yes.
You're enjoying art. And the difference between comics and manga, it's manga. I like manga stories. It's good,
They are very rich.
and they're very rich. But it's from the beginning to the end. It's same concept, same drawings, same artist, and from the beginning and the end. But in comics, every arc, new writer, a new artist. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're
Very bad.
very bad. But in the end, you find something good,
Good.
and something different each time when you read. So that's why I'm into comics more than manga as a reader. Yeah, I read most manga, the famous thing, but comics for me, I read everything. I like to read everything. I give a chance to every comic book, Indies, Dark Horse, Image, even AWA, the new one. I like a lot of stuff from them. DC, Marvel, yeah.
Okay. If I have to ask you, what's your favorite comic of all time?
Sandman. Sandman.
By Neil Gaiman?
Yeah, Sandman. It's the best.
Okay. This is across the board.
Across the board.
Okay. And who's your favorite superhero and who's your favorite supervillain?
It's hard to choose the best superhero. Yeah, I like a lot, but
Yeah.
maybe I love Rayner. Green Lantern is the most for me.
Yeah.
But as a character, maybe I like the Darkness from Top Cow. I love Emma Frost from the X-Men. Villain, you cannot go wrong with Doom or Lex Luthor or Bane. Never. So a lot, but I cannot choose one. I love Damien as my favorite Robin. So people say Nightwing, and the Nightwing is Nightwing now. He's not a Robin.
He's not a Robin anymore.
So yeah, so now is my favorite character is Damien. So I cannot choose, but if you're considering me as to choose in the end, I like the Darkness from Top Cow and Sandman and Kyle Rayner from Green Lantern.
You did me a huge favor today.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Okay, ever since I started producing content on superheroes, I get this question a lot.
Yes.
Who's my favorite superhero? And I say the exact same thing. And people say, how can that be? You should be having a single superhero. Which company is better, Marvel or DC or Image or whatever? I say, no, guys, you don't understand that Marvel offers something different kind of a content. DC offers something else. And it's next to impossible for, if you are a comic book reader, it's next to impossible that you say, okay, Superman is my all-time favorite. Of course, he's my favorite. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He's the icon.
He's the icon. Yeah.
But there is like 80-year-old history
Yes.
behind most of the characters.
Yeah.
And it's not possible that we can simply just say that, okay, this guy is our favorite or the other guy is our favorite.
No, nobody can say. It's hard to choose who's favorite, but because it's in the end, it's the story. It's not the character. You like the character. We all love Batman. We all love Superman. We all love Spider-Man.
Right.
But in the end, it's the story who you like most.
Most.
Yeah, for me, I love No Man's Land. So it's one of my favorite Batman stories. So I love what you call The Last Son of Krypton.
Right.
It's Superman story. It's one of my favorite. I know I love the trilogy of Death and Return and Reign of Superman, but it's in the end the story itself. Sometimes I follow the artist, the writer and the artist between. He writes this arc now, like Zdarsky. He wrote Daredevil. Now he's
amazing work.
Yeah, and now he's writing Batman.
Yeah.
So it's two different characters, two different companies, and there he's doing both well.
Well,
Yes.
Zdarsky has been a valuable addition to both publishing houses.
Yes.
Okay, now we understand the background that you come from. How has your experience been as the owner of a comic book store in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia? First of all, give us the overall feel, and then we're going to move on with the most selling story, the most selling statue, and all these things. So, please.
Okay. So the thing is, in the beginning, before I opened the shop, I have the friends. I think Jeddah.
Jeddah-verse, yes.
Yes, they are my close friends. They are related also to some of the what do you call it? I sometimes forget simple words. One of them used to be with the Basta.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were being a big help with me.
Right.
So I think they will come today. We're gonna meet them.
Inshallah.
Yeah. So they help me choose a lot of comics, stories. And then I don't know everything.
No, none of us do.
No, it's a big sea. Comics, it's a big sea. You cannot cover it all. So they help me choosing stories. They are big supporters of my shop, and they encourage me a lot. So yes. So in the beginning, when I see a person come in, mostly people are just wandering around, taking pictures. Yeah, because this is something new.
Right.
Yeah, I come to them, I'm offering a help. Do you need help? Go, no, I'm just wandering around just so to see what is this, what are these, are they for sale? Some prices doesn't make sense for them, some prices does, and we're speaking. In the end, he goes and I said, "Oh, I'll take your Instagram or Twitter. I have a cousin who's into this. I have friends. I have my friends in group." And the next day, oh, I see 2, 3. Oh, my friend came yesterday. He doesn't know anything about it, but we love this, and it's like word of mouth.
Word of mouth, right.
Word of mouth is coming a lot with me, so I'm happy with that. So the thing is, when I see people come in taking pictures, I have a smile. Yeah, I know that something will come in it. They're not just taking pictures just for themselves. They
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens with a reason.
Okay. Quick question then. What has been by far the most selling story since you opened?
Story. One story?
One story.
One story. I think Earth 1 Batman, because everybody wants a beginning. It's hard to bring
the one that was done by Bob Kane and
Yes.
Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson.
No.
The Golden Age one.
No. The new one.
The new one. Okay.
Yeah. Earth 1 stories are a big seller with me.
Big seller, right?
Because most of people wants, they want to begin. So Wonder Woman, Earth 1, Superman, Earth 1. So it's hard to bring the old. I have them all. I have the old one, but they want something, modern.
Modern, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a beginning for them. Also, Court of the Owls, Invincible.
Invincible. This is as a character.
Yeah, Invincible. They show its image.
It's one of the highest selling characters.
Yes, people come to see, ask about it. Anything related to Spider-Man. So Craven the Last Hunt. It's a good selling.
Craven the Last Hunt, the one that was written by J.M. DeMatteis and Mick Zack.
Yes.
It's still selling.
It's still selling. Anything, Death of Superman's selling a lot. Birthright's selling a lot.
So Invincible is one of the hottest selling items
Because of the show.
because of the show.
Yeah, because of the show. So shows and movies helps. So even so, like I got weeklies. I get it as the same time of the U.S. comic shops stores coming here. So like Flash is a big hit. The new Green Lantern is a big hit.
Right.
Anything Dawn of DC is a hit. Moon Knight and Venom, Daredevil are selling. So the thing is, Batman New 52 is selling also.
Right.
So a lot of stories. But when a teaser of a movie comes, a show comes, anything related to this story, it's come like selling. So when people like see a new Flash trailer,
Right.
they want to know Flash, Secret
Invasion,
now. People want to ask about Nick Fury, the Skrulls, whatever stories are related to it. Captain America movies, Iron Man, movies and shows help selling stuff when there's an announcement.
Okay.
Now it's Planet Hulk.
Now it's Planet Hulk.
Yeah, after the introduction.
If I see at the back over here, I see Journey into Mystery Omnibus, which has the works of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Yes.
Okay. 2/3 of the people who are responsible for the Marvel Age of Comics. Do you find customers coming in and buying these classic collections?
Yes.
And is it like in good numbers? Does it get driven by the TV shows, or do they sell on their own because of their appeal?
It depends. People like classics.
Right.
It's mostly like older guys or older people. Yeah, they like the classics. Some like, I want it just to be in my library.
Right.
Someone, no, he's dedicated. I want to read from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, I want. I can't tell him that each arc it's like a new beginning, or you can't do that. You don't need to go back. No. He said, I want the beginning. I like the old drawings. I want the old humor, the old kind of stuff.
Right.
So there's kind of people. So yeah, it's good to have both the old generation, the new generation, and the middle. For me, I like the classics. I like the new Titans, the old new Titans. I like the old Marvel comics. I like the Claremont X-Men.
Claremont X-Men.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
But which era? Because there's Claremont with Dave Cockrum.
Excalibur, these Dark Phoenix saga.
No, but is it Claremont with John Byrne mostly, or is it Claremont with Dave Cockrum, or is it Claremont with Jim Lee?
Anything. Claremont Jim Lee, because it was the I think it's the first one, right?
It's
or the middle one.
It's the world record holder for the most selling comic of all time, which still stands.
It still stands, yeah. So
Okay.
that's right. But I love Claremont. Yeah, so it's one of my favorite. It's my favorite team in Marvel. So the X-Men and Claremont is the reason that I love them.
I hope Chris Claremont and his fans are watching this, because
I have all of his analysis. It's there.
last year we came this close to actually meeting Chris Claremont. You know why?
Why?
He was supposed to attend Middle East Film and Comic Con in Abu Dhabi, but he had to cancel at the last moment.
No, that's sad.
Okay, right. Now, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Because by the end of the day, you are in Riyadh and in one district in Riyadh.
Yes.
Okay, and alhamdulillah, we live in a big country.
Yes.
There are a lot of people I know who are quite itching to ask this question, so I'm going to ask on their behalf. Will we see a comic verse in Jeddah, in Khobar?
I wish. Yes. It's in the end, I like the concept of a shop more than online.
Right.
And in the end, people want delivery. I understand that, but sometimes it's the price of the shipment, if price of shipping and everything. It's make it a little bit hard, when a person buy a 20 riyals issue. how many riyals I'm gonna sell it.
Sell it for, exactly.
Yeah, it's how many riyals to get it shipped. So it depends. It's like a weekly basis. You know, every week, 10 riyals, 15 riyals. It doesn't make sense for the money wise. It's better for me to open shops around the kingdom better than open an online store.
Right.
I know it's better to do online. I understand online is good. 100% with online, but also I support the shops. It's like entering, experience new things for you. Watch along. When I see a new shop in like for cars, I don't know cars, but I go in. I'm curious to watch things that new for me.
True.
Yes, so I like to do shops more than do an online. So my next shop, it will be in Jeddah. I hope so. Because
I asked for you guys.
Because the most people come me in Instagram and Twitter are from
Jeddah.
from the West. Yeah.
Well, I think this podcast episode is first of all an honor.
Yeah. Thank you.
For Superheroes of Arabia community, for the community that is subscribing to my channel on YouTube. You have contributed greatly to our passion. Yes, we know it's your passion as well. You were a comic book reader from the very beginning, but what you have done, you have added tremendous amount of value for all of us.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And on behalf of the community, not just me, we all want to thank you for inviting us here to interview you, to sit in your store, this beautiful, majestic store that we have. You can see it all. You can get the idea. This is where superheroes are happening. Thank you very much, Sultan.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. At last.
The pleasure is ours because we got the chance to host you on our podcast, and you actually gave us a wonderful, wonderful tour of your store. Don't forget to watch the vlog about Comicverse, and make sure that you follow them on Instagram and any other social platform. They are there. Links are in the description. You like this video, please make sure to share it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I leave you with the last word.
Thank you. I cannot explain more. I'm very happy.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.